Welcome to this June 17th edition of What's Happening in Crypto with the Crypto Lark, broadcasting to you from New Zealand and bringing you all of the latest. Let's check into the markets. Bitcoin, $6,555. Overall, the markets are looking rather anemic today, although very exciting news for XRP fans. They've got a new logo. Great. On to our first big story of the day. ICO drops reporting. The Fantom ICO, winning transaction in the gas wars, 580,000 Gwei, making the transaction cost nearly $22,000. This is an unfortunate turn of events for the Fantom sale, although overall I feel like the Fantom sale didn't really care about the public, to be honest. The overwhelming lion's share of the sale had already gone in the private sale to big investors. The fact that they had an uncapped sale just shows they didn't really care about the public. They didn't really care about getting this token out to as many people as possible or being egalitarian and saying, well, we're going to have a 5 Ethereum cap for people. Nah, they didn't care about that. The winning guy spent $22,000 to get his transaction pushed through, which is insane. This is a really unfortunate situation for Fantom that they just didn't care. And now it's gone to whales. It was already bought up by big high net worth individuals and venture capital funds, and the final sale itself largely went to big investors as well, with the sale finishing within one block. Crazy. Speaking of ICOs, QuarkChain. QuarkChain down to 13 cents. This is after its massive pump just after listing up to around 33 cents. Of course, coming way back down after that. Just goes to show you, when you have these massive hype ICOs, be careful, guys, otherwise you can get burnt really hard when you run out and buy these things just because they're pumping like crazy and you think it's going to keep pumping. Usually in these situations, just post ICO, we do see a pump followed by almost exactly what happened here, where it came right back down. We have had a little pump back up since then, but the price is once again chilled back out in this bear market. The CIA does not deny having files on Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto. They know who he is. Well, actually, they're not saying that, and this is kind of a non-story, but I did want to report on it because essentially the CIA, this is a CIA answer. They don't deny or confirm anything, really. Although I would not be surprised if they do indeed have files on Satoshi and potentially know who he is. But I want to know from you guys, yes or no, do you think that the CIA knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is? Or maybe it was just the CIA who invented Bitcoin. Curious. Speaking of Satoshi Nakamoto, over in Ukraine, Bitcoin fans want to put a Satoshi Nakamoto statue up where Lenin once stood. Curious. Obviously, there has been a big anti-Russian and also anti-Lenin, anti-past movement in Ukraine ever since the Maidan Revolution. But why not put up a statue of Satoshi? Although, what are they going to put up? Because we don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto was. What would that statue actually look like? By the way, 13% of net-savvy Ukrainians own cryptocurrencies. This is a number that I actually don't find all that surprising, considering how bad the hryvnia has performed. To see people going to cryptocurrencies is a great, I guess, indicator of how bad their government has been doing, but also, of course, a verification of the technology in of itself, that people are looking at this and going, this is something to put my money into, not my local currency. Kurt Russell. Yeah, we're talking about Kurt Russell today, guys. He is going to be in a cryptocurrency movie. Now, he is a minor actor in the movie, but nevertheless, it will be coming out here pretty soon. Some kind of thriller film, they say, in the vein of The Firm or The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. However, I really want to know what the slant of this film is going to be. Is it going to be a film that is going to highlight the good points of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, or is it going to be used as the bad guy in the film? We have the potential here for it to go both ways, because if we see a good spin for cryptocurrencies in the film, well, that could actually play really well in informing the audiences about this new technology, or if they paint it as Bitcoin was the devil in the movie, may not be so useful. Sweden's land registry demos live transaction on a blockchain. The group of companies in sum provided different elements that combined form the components of the blockchain pilot. A live demonstration conducted this week included client-side verification of government-approved digital signatures and the final exporting of necessary legal contracts. Of course, we've long talked on this show about the utility of land registry and blockchain. Well, land registry in Sweden is probably not a top issue. If they can pilot it in Sweden and make it work there, it can easily be transplanted to countries where they do have big problems of land registry issues. And it's a global problem, because 70% of people who own property globally are not able to prove they own that property, which is highly problematic. The SEC has removed a stumbling block for Ethereum Futures, says the CBOE. I'm not actually sure I want to see the CBOE bringing out Ethereum Futures. You look at what happened with Bitcoin Futures, for example, and I'm not sure that it's actually been such a positive thing for cryptocurrencies, although Ethereum Futures are already being traded over in the UK. It's only a matter of time before they do come to the CBOE. It's going to happen. Just give them a few moments and they'll be right on top of it. I'm sure those guys see the opportunities here to be making money. Speaking of Ethereum to combine Casper and sharding upgrades. This is from a recent Ethereum core developer meeting talking about how they want to really roll out these essential upgrades to Ethereum. So they're talking about how they can reschedule these upgrades to really help push everything forward a bit faster. Of course, Ethereum upgrades cannot come soon enough. Be busy, Vitalik. Get it done, man. EOS Mainnet experiences freeze 2 days after launch. I'm not shocked by this news. I know a lot of people out there will go, see, look, we told you EOS is a big problem, and the fact that 21 block producers basically had a conference call and decided the fate of the EOS blockchain is a worrying situation. However, to comment specifically on the mainnet freeze 2 days after launch, kind of expected. I mean, you would hope that for $4 billion you'd be able to buy a highly robust blockchain that would work from day one. However, it is experimental technology. The fact that problems are arising, not surprising. I think we'll see more problems arising with EOS before we actually have a solid, fully operational blockchain that runs without any problems. Bitcoin from the BitGrail exchange has been seized by Italian authorities. BitGrail, of course, was a potentially highly fraudulent exchange. I think it's better to see them actually have been shut down. The seized Bitcoin, though, we'll have to see what actually happens to that. Hopefully, there'll be a return of that to investors. Time will tell, though, how the court case decides the final allocation of those seized Bitcoins. Speaking of Bitcoin, Genesis Mining is back with Bitcoin mining contracts. Now, it is a $285 per terahash 5-year Bitcoin mining plan with 14 cents per terahash in fees. I ran the numbers on this one, and it's not looking very pretty for Genesis Mining, particularly in the current market that we're in. 100 terahashes would cost you around $27,000. On current difficulty rates, you would get 1.86 Bitcoin by the end of the year. That is not accounting for fees. The fees would eat a large chunk of that based on current Bitcoin prices, and though I'm very bullish for the future prices of Bitcoin, you have to realize that if you start a contract today, almost half of what you're generating will be going to paying those fees, which doesn't seem very attractive overall. And considering the amazing spike in difficulty, this is the Bitcoin mining difficulty chart. We can see here, last year, when Genesis Mining was offering Bitcoin mining contracts, they were still quite attractive. We were under 1 trillion in the difficulty range. Now, though, in the past 6 months, we have gone from 1 trillion to nearly 5 trillion. You can see on the chart here, this growth has been unbelievable. The game is getting big. And we have companies spending $700 million here, $500 million there, $250 million over there, buying Bitcoin mining machines, hooking them up. And that is part of what we're seeing here as these massive spikes in difficulty happen. I think for any regular investor who wants to go out and invest in Bitcoin mining, just go buy the Bitcoin, guys. There was a time when Bitcoin cloud mining contracts were quite profitable. And if you bought a Bitcoin cloud mining contract with Genesis Mining back in July or August of last year, you've probably done pretty well out of it. If you're buying one today, you will almost certainly not be able to get your Bitcoin back. You'd be better to just go straight to the market and buy about 3.5 to 4 Bitcoin, depending on the day's prices, and you'd be much farther ahead. Because the reality is, even though it's a 5-year contract, goodness gracious, we have the halvening coming in 2 years when the block reward is going to drop by half. So what do you think you're actually going to be mining at that point? Think about all the other big companies that haven't even announced yet that are planning to sink in a couple $100 million into Bitcoin mining. It is a worrying trend without a doubt. Not to mention, of course, that they're just incredibly cost-prohibitive contracts. If you just go to Bitmain or one of the other providers and just buy a Bitcoin mining machine, you'll be much farther ahead price-wise, and of course then you'll actually control your machine and be able to use it, sell it later, repurpose it to mining Bytum or something like that in the future. That's something to keep in mind here. Quick announcement as well. I'm going to be having a live stream tomorrow, Monday, 2 p.m. New Zealand time. I've invited a few different people to join me on that live stream to talk about net neutrality and the blockchain-based solutions to the future of the internet. So I'm still trying to confirm the guest list, so I'm not going to announce anyone now, but do come along. It should be a really good time to be able to pick the brains of some of the top people in the cryptocurrency space who are working on addressing these very issues. And a final reminder, get out there and get involved in the Zeepin giveaway. There is a like competition over on Facebook, a retweet competition on Twitter, and you simply need to thumbs up and comment on the Zeepin interview here on YouTube in order to be able to be in to win 2,500 Zeepin tokens. It's easy money, guys. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you enjoyed today's content, leave a thumbs up. Feel free to share these videos around social media to help grow our community. Leave a comment down below letting me know what you think about any of today's news stories. Join us over on Twitter where we continue the conversation. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.